Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. My name is Carly. This is a mostly knitting podcast. Sometimes we talk about other things like sewing and natural dyeing, and today we will be talking about a few of those things as well. We will start with some of the knitting and then we'll go to natural dyeing and then end it off with sewing. So let's just get straight into it because we've got lots to talk about. Okay, let's start with our finished objects. I've got two to share with you all. We'll start with the smaller one. This is the scarf number 3 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I didn't plan on making this. It was kind of just spur of the moment, a collaboration I did with Knitting Fever. So they gifted me this yarn and it's actually left over from my Tolsta tea, and that is the Queensland Collection Dungarees Rainbow Tweed. And I knit it in the color Honeysuckle. And I'll go a little bit closer here because what's really special about this yarn is there are flecks of some hot pink and the odd orange in there too. But it's just a really, really pretty neutral brown with a little bit of fun hot pink sprinkled in there. So I knit this primarily to wear in my hair as like a summer hair scarf or to tie my hair back, headband, and that's pretty much all I've been using it for. But you can definitely use it as an actual scarf like this. I think it's really cute. This isn't something that I typically wear, but I think in the fall and winter months, even on like a cooler fall day when you're wearing a sweater or jacket and just need a little bit of coverage around your neck, this could do. I mean, it's quite thin. I did mine on a smaller gauge than what the pattern recommends, and I kind of, what did I do? I think I did one less repeat, so it's shorter than what the pattern is designed as. And I know a lot of the examples, people can actually do this around their neck twice. And see, mine is barely there. Like if I'm doing that, it's very uncomfortable and pretty tight. So I would never wear it like that, but just once around I think is fine. And wearing it up in my hair I think is really cute too. I think this only took about 3 days, and that was like monogamous knitting on it. But it was really fun, and actually it got very meditative with this type of ribbing, and I love this ribbing. It's very stretchy and pretty. And you start at one end here with very little stitches and then gradually increase as you go. And then you hit your middle point, the widest part of the scarf. And so mine is a little bit narrower than the pattern because I knew that this was going to be worn in my hair. I didn't want it to be too thick. So I did, again, like less increases. So after you hit your widest part, then you start decreasing, and then the rows just get shorter and shorter. Sometimes to me it's a little bit annoying to work on such short or narrow rows because I find it's hard to get into a rhythm. And there were parts of this pattern where I found that it was getting kind of annoying, mostly just like the beginning and the end parts. But the middle I just found to be quite enjoyable actually. So again, there's not a whole lot to say about this. It's scarf number 3, My Favorite Things Knitwear, and just a really simple, easy, quick knit. I also just realized I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing, and this is my self-drafted wrap top. That's what I'm calling it. It doesn't look like a wrap top right now because it's actually reversible, so the wrap is at the back. I'll stand up here and show you. So this is the front. I've got my I-cord ties here, and there's a little hole on the side. And then this is the back. I love this top so much. It's really versatile. You can wear it either way. It's been so fun to wear. I'm very proud of myself for making it. And I know a few of you have been asking if I would make it into a pattern. I'm not too sure about that yet. I would absolutely love to, but I'm also just not the most, I guess, talented pattern writer. I think, no, maybe I should give myself a bit more credit, but I don't really enjoy the process of it too much. I find it very hard to stay concentrated to write a whole pattern. It's really hard for me to keep my focus on pattern writing. So maybe one day I do want to make another one. So if I pick up and knit another one, I'll probably be more thorough with my instructions, and then maybe the pattern will kind of come to life in that way, but we will see. We'll see about that. Okay, my next finished object. This one's really fun and colorful. Sometimes I really just need a lot of color in my life and a lot of color in my knitting, because I can get bored quite easily when I'm working in just a solid color. So this project really fed into that and just nourished my love of color, I think. And this is the plain solo yoke tee 22, I believe, by Lene, Holme, Samsoe, or Lene. And this yarn was also gifted to me by Knitting Fever, and this is the Noro yarn. I've got the Campeto and the color, whoops, Noro Campeto in the color 7. Let me turn that around. Here's what I have left, so you can see it in ball form. As you can see, a whole lot of color there. I showed a bit of this on my last podcast episode. So if you saw that one, you'll probably remember what's coming here. But here it is. How fun is that? I am so pleased with this top. I just really couldn't put it down because of the colors. I was admiring it so much as I was knitting. I would just have to put it down for a second from afar or far away, and then admire it from afar to see all the colors work together, and it was just so satisfying to see that. This top is supposed to be a short sleeve. As you can see, I did it in a long sleeve, or about 3/4 length sleeve, and I'm really happy with what I did there. It's really simple top-down circular yoke stockinette seamless tee. Great for beginners if you're newer to knitting or newer to garment knitting. I think this is a really good place to start. I would make this pattern again. I think it'd be a really good staple to have, and I would love to have one in more of a solid color that kind of goes with a little more things. I just did regular bind offs on everything, and that's what the pattern called for as well. And I really like the simplicity of this. There's no finishing on the neckline. It is just stockinette. There's no ribbing, there's no I-cord. It's just super simple, but I really love it. And because this yarn specifically is extremely colorful and loud, I like that I paired it with a really simple pattern. I think that works well. So this one was a real joy to knit. It's really fun to wear too. I've been able to wear it maybe once there was a cooler day. And this yarn is a combination of cotton and silk, I believe. Yes, 35% silk, 35% cotton, and then 30% polyamide. But it's really weird because this yarn does not feel, it feels very silky to me, but it does not feel cottony. It feels like a silk and a wool blend to me. So it's always so strange to me when I think that there's cotton in this. But it's definitely a warmer knit, and I kind of knew it would be based on the feel of the yarn, so that's why I went with a 3/4 length sleeve, just so I don't like warmer tees. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I wanted the 3/4 length, and I can wear it throughout the fall, winter, and spring, no problem. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about this. I think I spoke a lot about it in my last podcast episode, and again, it's a very, very simple pattern, so there's not too much to speak on, but I'll just show you another close-up here of the yarn. I have more of this Noro Campeto in my stash from Knitting Fever, and I'm very excited to knit it up. Again, I still haven't really figured out what pattern I'd like to use for it, so we'll see, but when I do, I'll probably be casting on something soon because it's just so much fun to knit. Okay, that's it for finished objects, just 2 objects that are done. So we'll get into the whips. I'm trying to think, I've got a few whips here and they're all down here, that's why I keep but I'm just trying to think which one we should get into first. Let's do the oldest one. I am knitting the Granada by Claudia Quintanilla. It's from her new book, Memory Lane, which is coming out next month. And I got a little preview of some of the patterns so I could start testing, or not, it was not a test knit, but just I could start knitting one of the patterns before the book came out. So I chose the Granada because it's both crochet and knitting, which I thought was really fun and cool and not something that I've done before. And I just really loved the crochet detailing on the collar and the sleeves. So I don't have a whole lot done, so it's not going to be the most exciting to show you right now. But here I have the back panel. It's a drop shoulder construction, so I've got the back panel piece done. I've just picked up stitches for the front shoulder part. I'm done that. And then my next step is picking up stitches on the right shoulder. And then after that, I think I'll be joining the stitches from the right and the left and continuing on the front piece here and doing some more armhole shaping and neck shaping. And then it'll be joined in the round. But I really love this color. It's just like a very, very pure white. And it is the Elspeth Levold Silky Wool. This was gifted to me by Knitting Fever. And this color is 222 Fresh Snow. Silky wool I've used before and it's really nice. I used it for a cardigan. I forget what the cardigan is, but I knitted navy blue cardigan and it's so light, so I thought it was a really nice summer garment. And this one, so yeah, this is 45% wool, 35% silk, and 20% nylon. So I'm very excited about this. I am really needing some more neutrals in my wardrobe, so I thought that this white would be perfect for it, and I'm very happy with it. I haven't gotten a whole lot of this done yet because I'm working on this other project that's been taking up a lot of time. I'm very excited about it, and I'm kind of have a self-imposed deadline on it, so that's why this kind of took a back seat. But once this other project's done, this will be my next priority. And if you watched my last video, it was talking about what's on my Ravelry queue, and this was #1 on it. So shortly after posting that video, I cast this on, and I'm very excited to have this on and going, and I think it'll just be such an amazing piece to have in my wardrobe. And then I can hopefully start working on the other items that are on my queue that I featured in that video. Okay. We'll start with this one. It's not in chronological order, but it was the next one on the top of the pile. So if you've been here for a little while, you'll know that I have a sock that I designed. I put it on the back burner for a little bit for the pattern writing side of things because I was having a really difficult time getting all my words together and figuring that side of things out. A very, very kind viewer contacted me and said she'd be more than happy to help me get my thoughts out onto paper and organize all of the numbers and wordings for me. Sorry about that. I think there's a delivery. Anyway. Yeah, she contacted me and said she would help me out and she'd be more than happy to do so. So I took her up on that offer and she's been absolutely amazing. You know who you are, so thank you so very much. So she, I sent her what I had for the pattern, and she sent me back all of her edits and her instructions. So I am going off of her instructions and doing another sample and just kind of, you know, seeing how things are working up. And I'm very excited because then hopefully, again, I'm not putting a timeline on this because some days I'm pretty good, some days I'm pretty bad, and I can get zero work done, or one day I can do really well and sit down and work on things for half an hour. So I don't want to promise any dates of when this pattern will be out, but I'm just excited to tell you all that I'm back working on it. And yeah, once I feel confident about the pattern, I'll send it off to a tech editor, and then I'll call out for some testers. So again, keep an eye out for that. I'll of course announce it on here when I'm actually doing the test call, but yeah, it's just nice to at least have this kind of in the works again. So anyways, this is the brick and mortar socks pattern, and this is it so far. So it's a 5x1 rib basically that alternates every now and then and kind of staggers the rib pattern. It also has a fleagle heel. These are top down though, so that might technically be considered a strong heel, or I'm not entirely sure. I have to do some research on that. But that's what I really love about these socks. I'll put a picture up of my first sample that I knit, and funnily enough, it's very similar to this color here. This is different yarn. This is my hand-dyed yarn that I did just the other day, and here it is. I naturally dyed this using maybe 5 different plants. I cannot remember which ones I used. I cannot remember which ones I used. This was kind of just like a fun experimental day while dyeing, and this is what I got. It's really fun because I was doing all of my sample dyeing on basically like a 25-75 sock of superwash merino and nylon, and I didn't love doing that because I'm naturally dyeing. It felt very contradictory to dye natural dyes on a synthetic yarn. So I recently got 100% BFL wool, and I did some research, and I read that this can work for sock knitting and that it's sturdy enough. So fingers crossed that it is. I'll see with some wear and see how it turns out, but this feels so amazing, and it just feels better dyeing on 100% natural material when I'm using 100% natural dyes. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And again, it's very similar to my first sample sock that I knit up, but oh well, I really wanted to try this new yarn, and this was the only color I had at the time that I could try. So yeah, and it's fitting because it's called brick and mortar, that it is a very brick red, so I think that'll be okay. But yeah, I just want to keep you all up to date on that this pattern is in the works, thanks to a very amazing woman who offered her services to me. So yes, very excited about that, and I think just her offering the help and having a second pair of eyes on it has helped me wrap my head around the pattern a little bit more. Of course, at first glance, this is like, okay, this looks very simple. How could writing a pattern be that difficult for these socks? But just when it came to the heel and the separation of the stitch count and the different sizes, it came to be quite tricky, and my brain would always just want to shut down when I got to that part. The foot, or the leg of it, no problem. The foot, no problem, but it was just kind of getting everything together for the heel and getting it on paper that I was struggling with. So I'm just so happy that she's been helping me out. And then yeah, once I feel comfortable and I've gotten everything in there, like I said, I'll send to a tech editor and then call for testers once I get her edits back. So yeah, very excited about that, and hopefully that's not too far in the future. But again, I'm not rushing myself on it. I'm just working on it when I feel motivated and when I want to, so that it's enjoyable for me, and that's the best way for me to work, really. Okay, next up we've got a really fun one here, one that I have not shown on here whatsoever, so it'll come as a bit of a surprise, I think a good surprise. This is a full-blown colorwork sweater. This is for my really good dear friend Lene. She has been wanting a sweater like this for years, and I know she's just a huge fan of Fair Isle sweaters. And she was in the market for one and was showing me all of these beautiful pictures of these sweaters and how she was going to buy one, but they were out of stock and it would take months and months for them to get back. So instead of her waiting for months and months for this sweater and buying it from this shop when she didn't know it would be back in stock, I thought that maybe I could knit her this sweater. So we came up with a deal for each other, like a little trade for this sweater, and I think it's absolutely a perfect best case scenario because she was really particular about the color she wanted in the sweater, so now she got to pick out all of the yarn. She also got to pick out the colorwork motifs for the yoke, and it's a full-on customizable sweater for her, so it's very exciting. And she also actually has a YouTube channel on here, so it's linked down below, and I'll put it up on the screen. If you're interested in anything style related, color analysis, body types, your essence, anything like that, definitely go check her out. She's an absolute master at all of this stuff. She knows her colors very well, and she knows just how to style different body types really well and play on people's essences, and she talks about all of those things in her videos, and they're very like educational based with lots of pictures and examples. So she's a really good resource to go to if you're ever curious about maybe what your color season is or your body type is and how to style it, you know, things like that. So definitely go check her out if you're interested. Especially as knitters, when we spend hours and hours making something, it can kind of be disheartening when you maybe choose a style that isn't great for your, I don't know, your essence even, and it doesn't feel like natural to you to wear, or, you know, choosing a color that doesn't bring out your features in the best way. It's kind of good to know those things if you're into it. And yeah, she can help you out a lot with her videos, so yeah, go check her out. Anyways, so we had a lot of fun planning for this sweater. She put up an entire, what do you call that, like an inspiration board type thing, and sent it to me. She had her colors that she wanted and the different colorwork motifs, and then the original picture of the sweater that she wanted as the inspiration. So I sent her a bunch of different patterns that I thought would be good for the style of sweater that she wanted, and then she settled on the Strange Brew pattern by Tincan Knits out of all the ones that I sent her. So that one was really fun because if you're familiar with that pattern, you can basically pick and choose what colorwork motifs you want to use and rearrange the order and have a lot of creativity with it. So it was really fun for me to knit this up because yes, she chose the colorwork motifs that she liked, but she said do whatever you want with them, place them in whatever order you want, and use whatever colors you want for these motifs. So let me grab the colors. So we went with Drops Charisma, and this is the main color. This is color 52. This is one of the, what do you call it? Contrast colors. This is color 86. Okay, here are the other contrast colors. And I'm not sure, there's only, so I'm not sure which color's which, but there's color 66, 1, and 54. But again, those are just the soft pink, the brown, and the white, so you could easily find them. Again, they're Drops Charisma. So let me show you what we got. So here we have the yoke. I had the absolute funnest time knitting this yoke. I really wanted to do it so that it's the yoke, the color work started off quite tiny here, and then had a bit more yellow, and then the color work got a bit thicker, little less yellow, and then even thicker, bigger color work motifs. And then I really wanted to end it with these stripy color work because I liked the idea of reintegrating the yellow in a subtle way so that it wasn't just like a straight line after the color work was done and then straight into yellow again. So I liked that transition quite a lot. I think that was a nice way to do things. This was also, I haven't done too much color work, and I've only ever done 2 colors at a time. In this one, I actually did up to 4 colors at a time in some of the motifs, so I had a really, really fun time, and I'm quite proud of myself the way I distributed all of the colors and organized the motif. I think it works really well. I think like this one here was a 4 color one, and maybe just below that also. I know there were a couple 4 colors, and then there were a couple 3 colors, very rare, where there are just 2 colors to work with. But I had so much fun with this. It was crazy. So this is the DK weight version, top down. I just like 45 minutes ago bound off the body, which was really nice to get done. I did an Italian or a tubular bind off. And I actually added in some shaping into the body. It slightly tapers to a narrower waist on both sides. I did that because I somehow got off of the pattern stitches. I have no idea how, but I had to kind of go off pattern at one point because my stitches were way off. Then I was worried it was going to be way too big, and it was just a whole lot of trying on after the yoke and freaking out, thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be massive. And then it's just funny how things come together once you get like a few more inches under the armpit here, because I feel like once you join for in the round after the sleeves, it like flares out quite a bit still, and then it's a bit alarming for me because I'm always like, this is going to be way too big. It turned out okay though, and I've tried it on. I tried it on just about 45 minutes ago after finishing the bind off, and it fits really well. So I'll pick up stitches for the sleeves next, but I really want her to try it on before I start knitting the sleeves because I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing yet, whether I'll be doing just like a simple straight sleeve or if she wants it to come in a little bit and if I have to add in some decreases to the sleeves or maybe a balloon sleeve. We did talk about it, and I think she wants it to just be like quite, maybe like follow the natural progression of your arms, so there would be some decreases to make it a bit thinner towards your wrist. But I just want to see how much room there is here in her arm and see like what the rate of decreases would be so it looks natural on her body. So yeah, I'm just very, very pleased with that, and it's really nice to knit for her. I've knit her a cardigan before, and it was the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers. She wears that so much, and I love that she wears it so much. That makes me really happy. And as I've been knitting this, I've kind of been using it as, like, you know, prayer shawls, when people are knitting a prayer shawl and they're thinking about that person the entire time they're knitting it. That's what I'm doing with this project. We've been friends for a very long time, maybe around 16-ish years. And, you know, we talk every single day, and we've basically talked every single day for 16 years, give or take a few days probably. And so yeah, I'm just thinking about all of our good times and memories together while I knit this sweater, and I think that it's making it very enjoyable, and it makes it feel like this sweater is very special. And I'm hoping that this piece will maybe become like an heirloom piece for her to pass down to her future children one day. So one last time, I'll just show off the yoke here because we all love a good yoke, I think. I'll actually turn it inside out and we can check out the floats. I didn't do any catching of the floats because this is knit, or because I think the most I was carrying a yarn over was maybe 4 stitches, 5 stitches I think was the max, and I felt that I didn't need to. I carried the yellow yarn all the way down, or all the yarns down, so I hope that's okay. Look how cool that looks. I also noticed that the sun is kind of peering in, and I might have been having like some white light through my face. Sorry about that. So that's the Strange Brew by Tincan Knits. Very, very fun. Absolutely loving it. I'm hoping her birthday's the end of September. We're actually only a week apart, our birthdays, which is also very fun. And it would be a dream if I could have this done for her birthday. I think that'd be really fun. And it's just the beginning of fall. Perfect fall sweater. So that's my goal. So birthday September 24th. It's about a month away. So I think that is doable. I'm also seeing her next week, so I can figure out the sleeve situation and get a jump on that. And yeah, I think it'll be okay. And pretty much I have like 2-3 rows of colorwork knitting in the sleeves. And then it's just yellow all the way down, stockinette in the round. I think it should be okay. Okay, my next whip is a pair of socks. I actually haven't picked these up in maybe like a week or two, and I totally forgot that I have one sock done already, so I can show you that. These are just some simple vanilla socks with a short row heel. I did 2x2 rib for the cuff, I think 20 rounds. 37 rounds, I believe, is what I did for the leg. Here's the short row heel. And yeah, here's the foot. Really simple, but what's so amazing about this project is the yarn. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So this yarn was gifted to me by Knitting Fever, and I'm not confident on the pronunciation of this, so I'll just show it here. It's a very beautiful color, and the color is Alchemy 1056. Sorry if you hear some activity outside. I had to open the window. It got very hot in here. So yeah, you might hear the odd car drive by. And this is what I have of the second sock. I have great memories attached to these socks because I've only been knitting them while at events like music festivals, a birthday party, things like that. So they're just my travel knitting project right now, and they're all been knit on at really fun different events throughout the summer. So I have a lot of fun memories attached to this, and I love how these colors are playing up and knitting up together. It just gives off a really like subtle sunset, in my opinion, and I could not be more happy with these socks. I'm excited to wear them too because I'll just be reminded of all the fun things that I got to do. So yeah, pretty happy with those. Okay, I have one last whip to share, and this one has not been shown on the podcast. This is knit up in Juniper Moon Zoe. This is 60% linen. No, yes, 60% cotton, 40% linen, and it is the color Sage. This is actually some leftover yarn that I had in my stash from a project that I did maybe 1.5 years ago. And I am knitting the Lily top by Yumiko Alexander. I've knit this top before, but I kind of wanted to do a better version of it because I was newer to knitting when I knit that top. I didn't knit it long enough. I made a lot of mistakes on it, and I just love that top and design so much that I knew that this would be a perfect yarn for a second one. So here we go. This is what I have so far. This is actually knit in pieces. So very unlike what I normally knit, but it's pretty quick and it's knit on a bigger gauge. It calls for a worsted weight yarn. I'm using about a DK, and I went down from I think they recommend a 5.5, yeah, 5.5 millimeter, and I'm using a 4.5 millimeter, so a tighter gauge. And I have about a few more rows until I'm done this front piece. And there's no shaping, it's just square. It basically sits like this. You knit the exact same thing for the back piece, and then you seam it together and you keep an opening for the neck, so it's basically like a boat neck. And I remember I did this on the first one. Is in the pattern she says to knit the sleeves flat. I just picked up stitches after I seamed everything together. I just picked up stitches in the armhole and I knit it in the round, and I found that to be perfect. I don't even know if this will have sleeves though, because I'm not sure if I'll have enough yarn, and so if I don't have enough yarn, there will be no sleeves, so I might just have a tank version of the lily top. So let me just show you this a little bit closer so you can see the lace. I'm very much looking forward to blocking this, because I think that, I know that the lace will just really bloom and open up in a nice way. So yeah, I'm excited. And then the bottom has a little bit of a different lace pattern. So yeah, that's been kind of like an end of summer project for me. I know I'll wear it all year long with layers and maybe over top of a dress or something. But I just thought this was a really good way to use up some yarn that I had left over in stash, and a perfect kind of one last summer tank top. It's pretty quick and pretty easy. So yeah, I hopefully will be done it next time I podcast, but we will see. Again, I'm getting light all over my face. I keep moving forward. I have to stay back here. Okay, that's it for whips. So we will move on. I'm actually getting very uncomfortable sitting here. So let's move on quickly to some natural dye and some sewing. This is kind of related to natural dye because it involves my naturally dyed yarn of mine. In the last episode, I talked about the Ter Shell, and I had some different color combos that I was interested in using, and I asked for all of your advice, and I think the winner for that was number 3, which is this combination. And the green would be the main part of the shawl, and then the toffee color, the beigey pink, and then this rusty browny red would be all part of the zigzag part of the shawl. So I thank you all so much for your input on that. I am going to go with number 3. That was everybody's, not everyone's, that was mostly everyone's favorite. So thank you. Next, we got a lot of natural dye to talk about. I just want to show you a few skeins that I've dyed over the last week that I'm very proud of. This is all, again, in that 100% BFL base that I was talking to you about, that where the socks were knit in. And I just think that these are the prettiest colors together. Look at these. So I actually have one more here, but it's way more bright than the rest of these. So this one is like a nice pinky brown. I believe that was some Kutch. Yeah, some Kutch and some Madder, and then, yeah, that was Kutch and Madder. This one here is like a muted olive green. This was, what was this now? Kutch and a dip in iron, I believe. This one's really fun. This is a sagey green. It can come off quite gray, but it's actually got a beautiful hint of sage green in there. And this was hollyhocks and pomegranate and a dip in iron. Here, this is another Kutch dip in iron as well. It just comes off a little bit more This reminds me, there's a I believe it's a We Are Knitters, and their Sexy Cotton. They have a bronzed olive colorway, and I feel like that color is so appropriate for this. Anyways, it just reminds me of bronzed olive. But yeah, it's kind of like a goldy, olivey, greeny, yellowy color. And this is probably one of my favorite colors ever. So love that. This one, I just got to show you this because, well, one, it's a really fun color. Two, it's also very unexpected. I had black, dark purpley blue, almost black hollyhocks. And this is what I got. If it were more concentrated, I definitely would have gotten a blue or a purple, and then it came out lime green. So I was not expecting that at all. So then this dipped in iron would create that sagey green that I showed you before. So I thought that was just really fun. So I have more yarn that I've dyed, but I just really wanted to show you those ones. I think those ones are really fun. Next up, my friend and I dyed a dress. The same friend that I'm making that sweater for, she bought a white dress, and she doesn't love wearing white. She is the color expert, so she knows exactly what colors work for her and which ones don't. So she asked me if we could naturally dye a dress. So we dyed this dress using some Kutch that I had. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. Orangey brown. And then, using the leftover dye from that dye pot of that dress, I had some fabric that I had already mortared and were ready to dye. And I had some scraps, so I just wanted to do some fun tie-dye and then turn these into little pouches or bags. Look how fun that is. And then the second round of dyeing with that dye pot, or no, it'd be the third exhaust bath basically from that dye pot, and I got a bit of a lighter color and did another one of these. So that concludes all of the natural dye, but it's a great segue into the sewing because I already sewed up a little pouch with that fabric. How fun is that? I really like that the tie-dye parts, like the full circle, is, you just get like the corners of that. I really like that. I use this really pretty zipper, and the inside is just some nice plain beigey cotton, which I think goes really well with this. That was a really fun, quick afternoon project. And then one last sewing piece, and then we'll call it a day. And these are some zero waste pants by Bergitta Helmerson. Heavily modified though. I always have to heavily modify her instructions or her patterns because I find they're way too big for me. They're meant to be oversized, but for me it doesn't look good if I follow the proportions. So I heavily modify them. I actually ran out of fabric for this one too, so or like full pieces, so they're quite patchworky. So here are the pants. This is the front. They're just a really simple elastic waist, but the fun part are the back here, or it's the back here with these fun patchwork pockets. The pockets in the pattern are about double this, but I thought they looked very odd when I wore them, so I cut them in half. I also had to do some like piecing together fabrics to get enough for me, so I have those bands down the back, and then I also have like the seams there at the back, you can kind of see there, because I ran out of fabric. And then again in the front I have it down here near the bottom of the pants. So they come a few inches above my ankles, and they're perfect. I think they're great pants. I love them. And I love the color. These are actually some 100% cotton curtains that my sister had and wasn't using them, so turned them into pants. But I really want to dye them about the same color as this dress. So next time I show you these pants, they'll probably be dyed, and I'm very excited for that. I think I'll just get a lot more wear out of them because I spill everything all the time, especially when I'm wearing white. So yeah, that's my plan, and I'll share that with you all next time. Okay, that's it. That's I think we talked and covered a lot today, so I hope you all enjoyed that. One thing is that will be coming up and I'm very excited about is we're very close to 5,000 subscribers, so I'd really love to do a giveaway for that. Maybe a skein or like a sock set of my hand-dyed yarn I think would be really fun to do. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, I know a lot of the viewers aren't subscribers, so maybe consider subscribing and we can get to that goal sooner so we can do the giveaway. And yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much if you commented on the last video and gave me some input on what color would be good for the Ter Shell. And yeah, we'll see you all next time, and happy knitting. Bye!